Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk to you guys about a really handy rule of composition. It's called the rule of thirds. So the idea behind the rule of thirds is you want to picture your viewfinder, the image you're seeing on your screen. Imagine that there is a tic-tac-toe board overlaid on top of it. And so you have your two lines going this way, you have your two lines going this way, and of course they intersect in four places. There are four intersections of those lines. So there are three different ways you can use the rule of thirds. The main way, the most common way, is to place your focal point, your object that you're photographing, in one of those intersections so that that intersection is touching the object. All right. Option number two is you can follow one of those lines with a line. If you have a subject that's kind of like a long, skinny thing, you can actually place it along one of those lines. And option number three is you can place areas, sort of like regions, that line up with or end at one of those lines. So I'll give you examples of all three of those. Okay, so I have this candle, and there's a lot of options as far as where I could place it. So if I'm considering the rule of thirds here as an option for my composition, then I have four places that I could put it. All right, so there's four intersections when you're using the rule of thirds, four intersections on a tic-tac-toe board. So sort of the upper left, like that, or I could use the lower left one like that, or the lower right one somewhere in that area, or the upper right one there. Okay, so any of those four, if I've placed my object in that area, then those are using the rule of thirds. All right, so now option number two is if I have sort of a line, an object that's kind of a long, skinny thing, I could place it along one of those lines. All right, so options for that would be placing it around about somewhere about there, or could hop over here somewhere around there, and then if I wanted to go, oops, that was good for the guitar. If I wanted to go horizontal with it, I could place it somewhere around there or around there, something along those lines. Okay, and then my last option is sort of using it for a region. Now, this may or may not work as a photo in and of itself, but it may be that you might need to add something else in it. But when you have sort of large regions in your photo, like say, for example, you've got maybe sky and the land, and you have the horizon where they meet, what you can do is you can place that sort of intersection of those two things along one of those lines. Okay, so I have carpet and I have wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that intersection, which is just the trim here, along, and I've really only got two options in this case because I can't exactly make that intersection go vertical. It is what it is. So I've got the two options. I could place it either in the lower third, so somewhere around about there, or I could place it in the upper third, somewhere around about there. And when you're doing this, it's also beneficial to be careful that you are making sure that those lines are nice and level. Okay, so if you're photographing it and it's kind of like tilted like that, it's probably not really going to work the best. But if you're taking care to sort of line things up so that they're level, that's going to enhance your photos even more. So that's pretty much it. That's the rule of thirds in a nutshell, using it to place an object on one of those intersections, to place a long skinny thing along one of those lines, or to place a horizon or some sort of like a dividing point where one sort of region and another region in your photo intersect along one of those lines as well. All right, so get some good photos, and I'll be excited to see what you guys come up with.